Hey guys, what's going on? James here, and welcome back to day number 3 of the 25 days of Bucsmas. 25 days talking about some of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and their impact on this team. As I said, we are on to day number 3. In day number 1, we talked about Buccaneers nose tackle Vita Vea. In day number 2, we talked about young Buccaneers edge rusher Joe Tryon. So now, as I said, we have moved on to day number 3. I've got the slip of paper here in my hand, and for today's video, we are going to be talking about Tampa Bay Buccaneers star tight end Rob Gronkowski. You know, when I think about Rob Gronkowski on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, there's a lot, right? The first thing I think about is just the ridiculous circumstances as to how he got to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, right? It's as ridiculous as anything that we have seen from this team the past 2 seasons. Of course, everybody knows Tom Brady signed with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. That by itself was just insane, right? Nobody thought that that would ever happen in a million years. But then it got even crazier with the addition of Rob Gronkowski. For those of you who remember, he had been retired, in the 2019 season. He was hurt, he was broken, he was beat up. He had dealt with a lot of nagging injuries, and he seemed pretty content, pretty happy with where he was in his post-football career. He was, diving into a lot of different projects, and he looked like he was having fun in his post-NFL career life. But then, as is one to happen in the NFL, whenever this guy wants something, Tom Brady made a phone call. He said, "Hey, Rob Gronkowski, what do you think about coming out of retirement?" Gronk said, "Okay, let's go. Sounds like a fun time." The opportunity to join, his favorite and only quarterback that he has ever had, really, throughout the entirety of his career with the New England Patriots on a new team, in a new place, with new faces, new coaches, all of these different types of things, was an incredibly, enticing offer to Rob Gronkowski, understandably so. So what happened? Well, Rob Gronkowski said, "I'm going to come out of retirement." The Tampa Bay Buccaneers had to trade for Rob Gronkowski because of the fact that, he was still technically, under rights of the New England Patriots. They gave up a 4th-round draft pick for Rob Gronkowski to get him to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And I think that in hindsight and in the moment, anybody would do that deal. Absolutely. And you'd be crazy not to do the deal, right? To trade a 4th-round draft pick to get Rob Gronkowski. Arguably, in some people's opinions, it's undisputed, the greatest tight end in NFL history. It's a no-brainer of a move, right? But even after that move was made, there was skepticism by some people. There was doubts from some people. Hey, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, yes, they have Rob Gronkowski. That's great. But why did he retire? Because he was hurt. He's 31 years old, or at least he was at the time of him, joining the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, 31 years old. It's pretty, it is definitely a possibility. Some people thought it was more so a certainty that Rob Gronkowski was going to get injured, and he wasn't going to be, an effective offensive weapon for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, regardless of the hype surrounding that move. Then what happened? Well, Rob Gronkowski played an entire 16 set of games, something he has only done, I believe, twice in his career, and it was his first and second seasons in the league. Since then, he only did it one other time, and that was his first season in Tampa Bay, and he looked really darn efficient, really good, I think. Now, yes, he was in, some timeshare situations with O.J. Howard and then Cameron Brate whenever O.J. Howard got hurt, but, he looked, I think, better than what people thought he was going to look like. And he certainly blew a lot of that skepticism, a lot of those doubters out of the water with not just playing a full set of 16 games, but also doing a pretty good darn job at that. And then the playoffs came. Rob Gronkowski, he's great in the playoffs. He always has been. He continued to show that with the Bucs. He showed flashes of the old Rob Gronkowski. And then now, as this is being recorded in the current season, has he been dealing with some injuries? Yes. But before he dealt with these injuries, which, to be fair, was nothing in terms of nagging, lingering injuries that he may have dealt with in the past. It was a new injury that was done from, a very hard hit, a very tough play that can cause injuries. Before that, he looked like he was picking up right where he left off from the 2020 season. Rob Gronkowski looked very good, especially in the red zone. He looked like he was one of Tom Brady's favorite targets, as he did whenever he first joined the team. And that is obviously an accurate thing to say because he is one of Tom Brady's favorite, if not his most favorite target Tom Brady has ever had as a quarterback. Maybe you can make the case for a guy like Randy Moss, but I know a lot of people may say Rob Gronkowski as well. So, overall, Gronkowski, since he has been here, I think that not just, he's been an efficient player for this team. I think it goes deeper than that. I think you have to look at what was expected of Rob Gronkowski. I think that there were definitely some doubters there. Some people who thought that the injuries were going to be, a final nail in the coffin type situation, that Rob Gronkowski wasn't going to be able to do it, that he wasn't going to be able to come out of retirement and get back into shape and play well at a professional level. And Gronkowski proved him wrong. He was able to work with Tom Brady. Heck, he's even on the TB12 diet, for goodness sakes. And they were able to regain some of that magic, for lack of a better word, that they had in their days in New England. And I do want to make a note of this because I do think it is an underrated aspect of who Rob Gronkowski is as a person. Everybody knows that Rob Gronkowski is a goofball, right? A guy who just likes to joke around, likes to have a good time, easygoing, laid back. But whenever you break down, really, who Rob Gronkowski is as a person, his accolades, right? 4-time All-Pro, 5-time Pro Bowler, I believe, a 4-time Super Bowl champion, 3 with the New England Patriots, and 1 with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. This guy was part of the Buccaneers' plans to bring in guys who are of a championship caliber, a championship pedigree, if you will. A guy who's been to the big games before, knows how to make clutch plays, and I think that that's valuable. Even if people, in my opinion, underestimate Rob Gronkowski, he's just a big, idiot, for lack of a better word. He doesn't do anything besides catch the football and run. I don't think that's true. And I might sound ridiculous for saying this, foolish myself or crazy, but I think Rob Gronkowski has very good leadership qualities to him. He can teach guys who, have now won their first Super Bowl, but, he can teach young guys, what it's like to make big play moments in clutch games. Make clutch plays, in certain situations. And I think that there are very good leadership qualities to Rob Gronkowski that are underrated, in my opinion. I think that Gronkowski is an underrated leader. And I know people are going to say, come on, James. He's laid back. He's a goofy guy. He doesn't, he isn't one of those guys who will stand up and take the lead. Again, I don't agree with that. I think that, having a laid back personality, like what Rob Gronkowski has, I think that there is chances for that to be a leadership type of mentality. In a game like the NFL, in a game like football, it's high stress situations, right? And having a guy who can be there and be focused when he needs to be focused, but also be able to improve the overall mood and relaxation, demeanor, if you will, of all these players around him, I think is something that goes overlooked in terms of what Rob Gronkowski brings to the table as a leader and as a player on this team. And I feel like it's an important thing to point out whenever you look at Rob Gronkowski as a leadership type of player. And that extends to more than just the tight end room. You can extend that to the offensive line. You can extend that to the wide receiver room, to the running back room. I mean, Gronkowski is one of the most accomplished players on this Tampa Bay Buccaneers team. And it would not be surprising to me to see players look to Rob Gronkowski, not just his accolades, but his overall demeanor that comes with those accolades, and finds some level of inspiration in that, peace in that, calmness in that. And I feel that's very important for a team who isn't always used to having big moments, isn't always used to having big clutch game moments. Obviously, some of the players are now. A lot of the players are now. But, having a guy like Rob Gronkowski, I feel, makes that transition just a little bit easier when those things do need to be done. So what do you guys think? Those are kind of my thoughts on Rob Gronkowski. I personally feel that he is an underrated leader on this team. I feel like people don't really give him enough credit as a guy who teaches some of these younger guys to, just sit back, relax, and kind of take it easy on certain moments, clutch moments, and being able to really focus and not panic in situations. I feel like Rob Gronkowski brings that type of mentality to the Bucs, and I think it's overlooked in terms of him as a leader and as a player. And of course, we all know how great he is as a player, but also pay attention to what he brings to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers as a leader and as a person as well, because I think that is also just as important. So anyway, guys, what do you think? Give me your thoughts about Rob Gronkowski down in the comment section below. I would love to hear your guys' thoughts and opinions as always. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Hope y'all enjoyed, and I would see you all in the next video or the next live stream. But until then, and as always, guys, goodbye for now. Whoops, and go Bucs. There we go. I got it.